bumper-to-bumper traffic for miles waiting to get into food banks.
Keep it going.
As millions of suddenly unemployed Americans now struggle to get food on the table.
We have to do this to survive.
I'm just a single parent. There's nobody but me.
Thousands of relief centers from Pittsburgh to St. Louis and Honolulu. Staffed by volunteers, traffic cops, even the National Guard.
I had a lady here yesterday with 4 little kids in the car, and she says, I'm a waitress and I don't have any food.
But people aren't just there for food.
Almost every parent, right, who has to come and ask for diapers, you can feel this and see this just like visceral fear and worry.
In Texas, 6,000 cars waited to get into this San Antonio center, many camping out overnight.
When they see that box of food coming into the car, some of them smile and some of them cry.
We're seeing them from all income levels, because when somebody gets laid off and the income stops coming in, even if they may have a fancy car or fancy house, they're going to be hungry.
Though demand is up, inventories have plummeted.
It's devastating. It's something that none of us could have ever predicted.
Farmers across America have no way to ship their food to the places that need it most. Carrie Sanders is in Florida.
Food banks report they're overwhelmed with demand, while farmers in Florida in the middle of their harvest say they are heartbroken because the logistics just don't exist to get the fresh corn, green beans, and other vegetables to those who need it. Instead, it's all being plowed under.
But for many families in need, help is on the way.
Hey, Shalom. All praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well through the scriptures, peace of the hopeful elect. And yeah, that makes you think of this scripture right here. Book of, let me see, 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, starting at, I start at 17. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? He's talking about the end time days, all right? It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. See, we at the beginning stage of sorrows, of great mourning with, weeping and famine, all right? Because famine is the lack of food, the lack of resources, all right? It says, and the powers shall stand in fear. Pardon me. It says the beginning of wars. See, we at the beginning of wars too. All right. You got the scripture speaks about the last days. There will be wars and rumors of wars. All right. It says, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. And evil mean bad times. So this the beginning of bad times, whether it be financially, spiritually too. You got a lot of people, pastors have died from the coronavirus, and people don't. People's faith is getting shaky and wavery, all right? Because these pastors is dying of the coronavirus. So it's like, if they supposed to be a man of the Lord, why are they affected like this? It says, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Right, so the Lord is, all these things is happening because they was prophesied to happen. But all these things is happening because the world is very wicked too. All right. That's why they says they are sent as scourges for amendment. All right. Verse 20. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness. All right. So normally when you do something wrong and you get punished for it, you don't do it anymore. All right. But our people don't realize what's happening, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans for the most part, which are the Hebrew Israelites. And even other peoples around the world, Chinese, Japanese, Norwegian. A lot of other people don't realize that the state of the world is based off the mood the Lord is in. All right. So it says, but for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So people are not looking like, okay, well, this is an act of God, or this is the wrath of God, It said, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth. And victual is like, a victual is it could be food, it could be resources, it could be toilet paper, it could be gas. And gas is very cheap. You can get 2 hamburgers for $3 at McDonald's. All right. You know, I believe gas out here in Indianapolis, Indiana, it's around 150 to 160. But when you go around those little, the more, I don't want to necessarily say rural, but, out the way areas out here in Indianapolis, you go to little areas that's out the way, not as urban or not as city-like. Gas about 129, man. Gas about 129, 130. So even 20 to 30 cents even cheaper. That's real cheap for gas. It says, but behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Yeah, that people think themselves to be in good case also with them stimulus checks Donald Trump got planned on rolling in too. It says, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Right, so all that things is going to increase. All right. It says, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. All right. So a lot of people going to die from malnutrition, from starvation. And I get the scripture. This is Lamentations 4 and 9. It says, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. Right, because to be slain with hunger, well, it explains it. It says, for these pine away, stricken through, for want of the fruits of the field. So they just, to pine away mean to waste away. So you're just slowly deteriorating for want of the fruits of the field. All right. Back in 2nd Ezra 16 and 23. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. It ain't gonna be no farmers. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? And that's the problem that's happening now. The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men. Right. And right now, farmers are, a lot of crops are either rotten or just being destroyed because they don't have the workers to harvest them. And like the video said, the demand is increasing, but the supply can't meet the demand because this lockdown got the social distancing, it got everything closed down, and now another problem that the farmers is facing is what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, like they said, they don't have the logistics to handle the problem. One of the problems they facing is that is it worth even reaping it, because the labor that they got to pay for it ain't matching the profit margin as far as making any profit, So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. Let's hopefully let call Allah Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Kakudas Shalom.